enigmatic and charismatic. Gotta live static, gotta get at it. Never pragmatic, cause we live tragic. I can't live average, to be alive's magic. Turn it up in the back cause I'm grabbing everything I want, get in my way and I'm stabbing. I'll be moving crowds till I'm 6 feet napping. They need another fix, hooked on like an addict. I got my eyes on the prize and it's changing lives. I wanna live till I die, make a difference, right? I wanna give those in need a reason to fight. I wanna live every day like it's my last night. I wanna change how we play the game, rearrange all the pieces till they say my name. Push an agenda against doing what they say. I wanna stand up and start a revolution. I wanna 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 start a revolution.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's turn on the cameras here. Oh boy, what a crazy morning. Very busy, crazy morning, but very tired. I ended up falling back to sleep because my doctor decided to call out. Um, and I got a last minute call letting me know that my appointment has been canceled. I'm like, so doctors are allowed to call their patients 10 minutes before their appointment to cancel. I don't think that's pretty fair and right. So I'm going to have a talk with the administration actually Wednesday about that, because this is not the first time they cancel an appointment. Like literally 5 minutes before my appointment, I get a call stating your appointment has been canceled. I'm like, I'm at the fucking facility. That's fucking crazy. But it is National Coffee Day, and I got my cup of coffee here. It's nice and late, but better late than never. Got some news to go over, but I don't have anything open yet. It's just one of those days. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you are starting off your week pretty right. Not me. It's like doctors don't give a fuck because it's not convenient for the patients, right? But it's convenient for the doctor to call out whenever they want to, and then have their staff call you 10 minutes before your appointment to let you know you're canceled. I'm like, I'm outside your facility. What the fuck you mean you're canceled? Like, you know what I mean? I was just really pissed off this morning. I ended up going back to sleep and then waking up and then, dealing with life, I guess. But let me get a couple of windows open here and see what we got. Let's see. We do got a couple of news. Imelda looks like she's strengthening. So we're going to take a look at that. Man, we got a lot to cover. A lot of craziness. A lot of people are just really weird. Like I said, it's very weird. Wow, that was a bad monsoon up in Phoenix. We're gonna check that out. All right, well, let's start off with these rule 4 that I have here, but I gotta set them up. So give me 1 second for me to put them all together. It's not an easy thing to do because I usually have this already ready before the show, but I started the show pretty quick, and then I have anything ready. Okay. So we got 2 weathers and 2 news. I got a window open over here. Bring this over here. And let's figure this out. But we're going to start off with the tropics today. So we're going to start with the Imelda Umberto. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out.
Let's go ahead and take it in or bring in Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist Brian Norcross. Brian joining us. I'm sure you're also ingesting some of the information just coming in from the National Hurricane Center. But interesting to note that while it is moving slowly,
change the background on this.
Yeah, strengthening, and it went right over Marsh Harbor in the Abacos in the Bahamas. They had a burst of wind there. I checked in with them there, and now it's moved on past quickly. No significant damage, but about 6 inches of rain as it went by Marsh Harbor being here on the northeastern side of the northwestern Bahamas. But there you can see clearly a cluster of thunderstorms has developed in there. 60-mile-an-hour winds is the estimated maximum wind. They've had lots of aircraft in there measuring this thing. Pressure is very low for a 60-mile-an-hour storm, and that's because the pressure in general in that part of the Atlantic is low. We have a super big hurricane just to the east of there. So it's the relative pressure that makes the wind speed, not the absolute pressure. So this unusually low 988 is yielding a 60-mile-an-hour wind. There you can see when we look at the visible satellite picture exactly what's going on, and we can see this cluster of thunderstorms right up there that was highlighted earlier, went right over there, Marsh Harbor. There, look close up. There you can see where Marsh Harbor is. This is Great Abaco, is the island there, and this is Grand Bahama here. So they're still getting the edge of it here in Grand Bahama, but they're on the backside of it in Abaco. The backside of this system is not very much. Most of the most intense weather is north and east of the center. Now we are getting some edge effects, and you can see here this line, but the thing is that the air in the mid levels of the atmosphere over Florida is pretty dry. So as the storm is sending out these bands, they're mostly evaporating, although some pretty good downpours embedded in it, and maybe some gusty winds, especially up in here, because the idea is the storm is going to move north, intensify some before it heads on off to the east. So central Florida, most likely to get winds maybe gusting up to 40. I haven't seen any gusts over about 25 or so so far, but gusty winds are right along the coast, nothing too dangerous or anything like that. And then moisture continues to stream north, as we talked about. There is a front up here. The front is right in, you can kind of make out that line right there. That's the line where the front is. So the air behind it is just generally cooler, so that rain runs over the front. So it's not a heavy tropical rain kind of thing. It's more a kind of just steady rain. But where you have steady rain, sometimes you can get flooding, and this is going to keep up, looks like, into tomorrow at least, before it lets up and drier air comes in. So here's the new cone from the Hurricane Center. You notice continuing to move north for today, and then beginning the turn to the right and beginning the turn offshore, intensifying. The thinking is by tomorrow morning, the way it's going, could be later today. I mean, plus or minus only 5 miles per hour by this evening, short of being a hurricane. So that's all possible, but the good thing is it's moving offshore, although it is moving right in the direction of the of Bermuda, and I think there's no doubt they'll put up a hurricane watch for this one. So arriving late Wednesday is the thinking now in Bermuda, maybe even after dark on Wednesday. And they could get a direct hit from this. This is going to be close. The thinking is that it will continue to intensify and then start weakening as it gets on out here past Bermuda. All right, let's look at the other storm. This is the big one, up to 145 again. It went through what's called an eye wall replacement cycle. We talked about this yesterday, a bigger eye wall forming around the center one and then shrinking again. So it weakened for a bit and then re-intensified. Hurricane hunters went out and checked that out as well. Pressure 940. So look how close these two storms are to each other. It's kind of crazy. We'll look at the cone on this one, and then we'll talk more about that. All right, so here it is. You see it's going to clear Bermuda by quite a bit. They've had a tropical storm watch up in Bermuda for the idea of edge effects from Humberto, and but it looks like that's going to be more, maybe they'll get a little bit. They'll know there's a storm out there, but it's not going to be a big deal. But Humberto is a much bigger storm than Imelda, so it doesn't have to come as close to have some kind of edge effects. But anyway, nothing dangerous in Bermuda from this one. So there you see the two systems are about 600 miles apart, and 600 miles is the point where one storm can affect the other. In this case, especially if they're both fairly strong. In this case, this one is fairly weak, and but this one is very strong. So no big effect, just quite yet. You can see the circulation of this one is independent of this one, although we are starting to get what looks like some kind of connection there. All right, here we are today. Now let's go forward in time, and you see it moves north and then starts to move east. And what's happening here is there's high pressure out here, and that's what's driving it north. But then the big hurricane comes up in here and just shuts off the high pressure. And so it gets pulled into that weakness, essentially, in the high pressure and moves offshore. You also notice the plenty of moisture up there. This is tomorrow over the southeast. And this is why there is some concern for some isolated flooding. It's not a big deal, but still a kind of continuous rain, low-lying areas, saturated ground, and so forth. So we're just going to be ready for that. Then it moves offshore. You can see the idea is that it runs in the direction of Bermuda. Now, what we're seeing here is the model. This is the European model. Is a little bit slower than the National Hurricane Center forecast right here, but they're all basically in the same line. And then moving ahead, you see it briefly goes to Category 2 strength in the vicinity of Bermuda on Wednesday night. So by Thursday, it's passed, and then drier air is coming in, kind of a front coming down here, but it doesn't get all the way to South Florida, but it really does dry out much of the southeast. Florida doesn't quite get it all. Now, the big effect, I think, that's going to affect more people than anybody with these two storms and two hurricanes when the melt intensifies is what's going on in the ocean. Here you can see right now that we have the enhanced waves from this relatively weak storm out here kind of north of the Bahamas, and some of that flow is coming back. So we have dangerous rip currents here all the way down into South Florida, kind of coming around the Bahama Bank right down there. So if you're thinking about going to the beach, the weather is actually not going to be that bad. It's quite warm. So people might be wanting to go to the beach, but dangerous surf. Pay attention to the lifeguards, but not as bad up here in the southeast yet. But this big hurricane out here is throwing energy toward the coast too. So watch as we go forward in time here. And now you can see, look at this, the reds are up to 12 to 15 feet, all the way from about Palm Beach County in Florida, all the way up the coast to South Jersey. This is tomorrow as energy from both of these storms pushes toward the coast. And then we go into Wednesday, and look at this, all the way up to New England. You have enhanced energy, big swells pushing toward the coast. So for boaters, check with the harbor master. Anybody going to the beach, check with the lifeguards. Be sure, because this is going to provide unsafe surf conditions, very intense currents in the water from both of these storms pushing energy toward the east coast of the U.S. All right, how confident are we that this is going to do this? Well, there's the GFS. It says it's going to do it. And how about the European? Yep, it says it's going to go north, and then it's going to go east in the direction of Bermuda, and the Google model says exactly the same thing. So we have very high certainty that this is going to do some version of this, no question. And when we look at our tropical threat graphic, you see that it takes the storm north and then east in the direction of Bermuda. But around Bermuda, notice that we don't have the deep reds. And then out here, we don't have the deep reds. That means less confidence in the track. So exactly where it's going to be when it's in the vicinity of Bermuda, a little less sure. But the good thing for the U.S. is that we're very, very confident that this is going to move offshore. And the real threat, I think, is going to be that energy in the ocean. Steve and Marissa?
Yeah, and it's been fascinating to watch how the forecast has evolved, because there were a lot of complexities when we were looking at what was eventually going to be Imelda over the weekend. And Brian, in your note this morning, you probably assume we're going to ask you this. And I know we've talked a lot about it, but this is our first hurricane season, as you'd mentioned, comparing the AI models with the traditional computer forecasts. And you had said, which is true, I mean, the traditional computer forecasts are more expensive to run and computationally speaking, intensive. So is this a promising trend for Google AI? Is that a pretty obvious question, or has it just been a lucky season and we've not
I don't trust Google AI
systems yet?
Yeah, this is a pretty tough system. Anytime someone's disorganized, it really was amazing. I was amazed that it picked up on the right turn so soon. The Canadian model kind of did it too, but you always ask yourself, there is the story that even a blind squirrel sometimes finds a nut.
Right.
So, you just because it gets it right doesn't mean that it has it figured out. But in the middle of this whole thing, Google updated their model, and then it will totally settle down to shooting off to the right. So we're just going to have to see whether, there are other storms in the world to look at too. It's not just hurricanes, right? We have typhoons and super typhoons and all that. So when we get done with this hurricane season, really going to be able to look at it and try and understand better how much the model did really well and what its weaknesses might be in comparison to the traditional models we've been using for years. And of course, they're always being updated as well. But it really is impressive, I must say. It's kind of stunning to see that happen so clearly with this storm.
And Brian, real quickly, because I know we're running out of time, just for people not as familiar with the AI models, in terms of the difference between those more physics-based models, AI is more of a has more of a learning mechanism to it. Is that the correct way to say it?
Yeah, so they put data in, not from every past hurricane season, because they leave some hurricane seasons out so that they can test on those. So they don't want to put, they don't want to give the model the test, essentially. So they do that. But Google also goes back and looks at high definition data and puts that in as well from around the core from the last several years. So they're doing a little more to try and make a good forecast. And now they're learning. They're learning how to tune the model to end up with good answers. So it takes multiple storms to really know exactly how successful they are.
Well, so far so good. I'd have to say a hat tip to Google AI and much more. It will be interesting to see what the years ahead lies for hurricane forecasting. Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist Brian Norcross, appreciate it. Thank you.
I would not depend at all on AI. AI is still like a baby. It's still a toddler. And the fact they want to put so much trust behind AI, it's very, 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 very disturbing. I wouldn't put my chips on it. AI is as stupid as a youngling, pretty much. It's not reliable. It makes a lot of mistakes, and it leads people the wrong way. And people want to put all their chips on AI. I'm like, nah, I'm holding back. Because I don't trust easily, and especially when it comes to foreign alien technology, that it's not from here, and the fact that they keep exploring on it like it's a good thing and passing it on to the humans like it's a good thing. In reality, it's not good at all. It's very, very unhelpful. But with that said, let's go ahead. I got a couple of more news feeds. Let me just open up here and resize them. Gotta get everything resized. And next story we're gonna go to is gonna be the monsoon out in Phoenix. Can't believe they're having a crazy amount of rain out there. All right, here we go.
Responders have been busy all day with rescue efforts in the far east valley, along with dark clouds hanging over their heads the entire time. Nicole Christine joins us live from Globe with the latest tonight. Nicole.
Well, good evening, Brian. We are just east of US 60, and we're right by the Pinal Creek. It's pretty quiet here tonight, and that's good because people should be at home. We have not seen any rain in the past couple of hours, but we know that it's not necessarily all gone yet, and people really need to just abide by that shelter in place. But we wanted to show you right along the creek. In the distance, it's very hard to see in the dark, but you might be able to catch some of the reflection. That is the bumper of a car that has been turned around and been stuck right here along underneath this bridgeway. Now, even closer to us, You mentioned those propane tanks. They were floating last night, and tonight they are all lining this. There's dozens here, as you mentioned. There are about 1,000 total that can be found throughout the town. And the concern with that, with any hazardous materials potentially, or any other risk, is that the Pinal Creek feeds into the Salt River, and then that feeds into Lake Roosevelt and, of course, the Roosevelt Dam.
We can't confirm how many we have that we actually found. The thing is, we have a list of other people that are missing from family members.
Search and rescue crews working through the night Friday into Saturday to find people swept away in the floodwaters, with at least 3 people confirmed dead. Mayor Al Gameros explaining why those crews had to stop working as more rain came through Saturday.
Because of the first responder safety. You know, that's the main thing. We got the rain. We have the Pinal Mountains. It's 8,000 elevation. So it rains in the mountains and then brings that water, gushes down. And that's what overruns our creeks. And so we're afraid to put anybody in there till that storm is over.
In 41 years, it's rained, but it's never been like this.
Mark Boyce has lived in Globe for 4 decades and says the flash flooding that hit Friday was the most intense weather he's seen here.
Here at my shop, I had 2 foot of water running through my lot, let alone what was running in the highway. So
Wow.
we had cars that were washed away. We had propane tanks, some of them full of fuel. So terrifying. You have a situation where it could have been really volatile.
Boyce sharing how the community has helped him take care of his shop today.
Had lots of people delivering sandbags to me today. I thought I was going to have to go fill my own bags, and I didn't. They supplied them to me, so I was grateful for that.
And sharing gratitude for his safety, along with a message for other Arizonans.
Just know that things can turn nasty in a blink of an eye. So when it says turn around, don't drown, that's what they mean.
And Gila County officials confirming that the propane tanks came from a nearby distribution center, but we don't know at this time who owns that center. Now, tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7 a.m., the incident command team that has taken over emergency response for this area is going to be hosting a public meeting. They're going to be giving some updates. So we should find out at that time a little bit more, potentially more about the count for the missing and the dead, and also some things for you at home to know about where you can send your donations. A lot of people wanting to help right now. And there's some areas
the
here
government
you can
send them
show
the
up
money
in person. The Red Cross
Got money
has
for
some
that.
evacuation centers. But tomorrow we should learn a little bit more about where your donations can go. Reporting live tonight in Globe, Nicole
They quick
Christine.
for that
Fox 10
donation
News.
money.
Thank you very much, Nicole.
Real quick for that donation money. Like, that's bullshit. A natural disaster happens and automatically send me money, send me money. I don't care where it comes from, just send it. Shit, then send me money. I didn't get no penny. I don't get a penny from none of you guys watching. So send me money. If they could do that easily, then you can do it easily to me too. It's crazy, right? I know. Let's go ahead and continue.
Guardsmen to Portland, Oregon, after months of protest at ICE facilities. But now Oregon is suing, arguing that Trump's claims of violence in the city are baseless, wildly hyperbolic, and that pretext. Joining us right now to discuss this is former DHS Secretary Chad Wolf. Chad, we've been down this road before with you. You put federal troops in there because they couldn't control their people.
Well, that's exactly right. We saw this during 2020 when Portland was out of control, when you had very violent protesters late at night trying to lay siege to a federal building there. And time again, I had asked the governor of Oregon, the mayor of Portland to help protect DHS law enforcement so that they could do their job. And time again, they said no. And so I sent in over 250 DHS law enforcement officers to protect federal facilities there. And that's what President Trump's talking about. He's talking about surging National Guard to protect ICE officers and other federal law enforcement doing their job there in Portland, because the simple fact is the mayor and the governor refuses to let the Portland Police Department do their job and help federal law enforcement.
Right. But what you did something with federal troops, federal protection services. Are they able to do more than the National Guard would be able to do? Might that be a better option?
I just put the chat up now.
Well, we did. We sent in CBP law enforcement officers, ICE law enforcement officers, and others. They do have arrest authority, so a little different, unique than someone like the National Guard. And so they had that ability to go out into the crowd, understand who was committing the violent acts, witness those acts, and then arrest them as well. Look, the best case here is to let Portland police do their job. But the mayor and the governor have to get out of their way and let law enforcement do their job. If they're not going to do that, then President Trump and his team have no other alternative than to send federal law enforcement in there to make sure that federal law enforcement, ICE officers there in Portland are safe. That ICE facility in Portland, just outside the city, has been laid siege to night after night after night. And unfortunately, we don't want another incident like we saw in Dallas to happen.
I know the president has no choice. In my view, they got to step up. They said they were going to step up in other areas when the president threatened before. Let's see if they do it. Meanwhile, this is an interesting story. This Des Moines school superintendent, a former key aide to Michelle Obama, his name is Ian Andre Roberts, got arrested. Well, why? For being in the country illegally. And now Iowa is pushing to keep him here. This guy has overstayed his visa. He's ignored desk appearances. And now ICE is saying you're on target list. You don't belong here. Here's the Des Moines School Board defending the superintendent.
Before we begin, it seems fitting to take a page out of Dr. Roberts' book and ask the community to engage in radical empathy as we work through this situation together. We do not have all the facts. There is much we do not know. However, what we do know is that Dr. Roberts has been an integral part of our school community since he joined over 2 years ago. During his time with our district, he has shown up in ways big and small.
Happy to see you too.
He was arrested with a loaded handgun, a fixed blade hunting knife, $3,000 in cash. Your thoughts?
Who the hell walks around with a loaded gun?
Well, a couple of different thoughts here. One, it's remarkable that that school system would hire someone that has no work authorization, that has no legal right to be in the United States. You really have to question their hiring practices. Two, this individual knew that he had overstayed a visa. He knew he had no legal right to be in the United States, no work authorization, and yet he's going to continue to go down this path. Look, he could be a great individual, a fine, upstanding individual, but the facts remain that he is here in the United States illegally. He has a number of different ways to cure that illegal entry into the United States, and over time, he's chosen not to. He's chosen to continue to go down this path.
This is crazy.
And so it leaves DHS, it leaves ICE and others, those that enforce immigration law, little choice here.
Chad Wolf, thanks so much. Appreciate it. 21 minutes now before the top of the hour. I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
Who the hell walks around, right? Give me a second to bring it back to me. Who walks around with $3,000 in their pocket on themselves, a loaded gun, and a hunting knife? Who does that? What are you going to do? I mean, you have a whole lot of cash on you. You got a weapon loaded, which he's not supposed to have because he's an illegal immigrant. Did he have a permit for that gun? I don't know. It's just very weird. That story is very weird, and it's still developing. And the fact that they hired him, a school board hired him without doing proper background check, is beyond like, what the fuck is going on? So let's go ahead and go to some more news here. Let's go ahead and move this forward. That's wild, though. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm not a U.S. citizen. Come on. They're going to grab his ass. I'm not a U.S. citizen. Come on. They're laughing at him. Oh, then they go after him. Oh, they got him. Oh, they almost got his ass. I know he got scared. Oh, they're happy. Look, the seniors. Happy Ice is there. Look at that. They're saying thank you to Ice. Wow. That's incredible. This is what needs to be done. They need to weed them out. They got to get them out of here. Patrol the streets. I don't see any illegals around there. It looks pretty safe.
Women of ICE are out here making a difference. They give it their all. They do this with courage and honor every day.
Wow. That's wild. Let's continue on with the news.
As President Trump orders National Guard troops into Portland to protect ICE facilities and other federal property. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino for Hour 2.
Yes, Hour 2. Hour 1 is down, and we're waiting a ton of headlines that are going to be rolling out today. So you got hundreds of people gathering outside an ICE building yesterday in Portland, Oregon. Riots have been taking place in recent months, such as this, as you might recall.
Well, Oregon officials, though, pushing back against Trump's plans. The state announcing a lawsuit against the troop deployment as the governor claims they are not needed.
Miss Sufra.
There is no insurrection.
Listen, look at her. Is that a guy or a girl?
There is no threat to national security.
I don't know. What is it?
Need for military troops in our major cities.
I mean, it's
President
Tina, but
Trump's
Tina could be a guy.
inconceivable insistence that we need federal troops in Portland
I don't know.
does not
What is
address
it?
the real concerns in our communities.
So let's get to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt reporting now on the West Coast. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning to you, Bill. There is no word yet on when the troops the president has called for will arrive in Portland.
Our way.
The protesters are already there in numbers. Hundreds showing up outside the city's ICE facility last night to make clear their anger at the idea that troops are, as President Trump said over the weekend, needed to protect ICE facilities from what he labeled domestic terrorists in a city he called, quote, war-ravaged Portland. There was little confrontation last night with large numbers of federal agents deployed to face down the protesters and to escort vehicles in and out of the facility. 2 arrests were made. Officials in Oregon have filed a lawsuit to stop the troop deployment, saying it breaches the Constitution and could in fact cause rather than prevent violence.
The president's actions today only serve to further divide us as a nation, as a community, under the guise of caring about public safety.
When the president and I spoke yesterday, I told him in very plain language that there is no insurrection or threat to public safety that necessitates military intervention in Portland or any other city in our state.
Now, some residents, meantime, used the hashtag war-ravaged Portland to mock the president's words, posting what they said were pictures and video of bustling Portland restaurants, bike paths, and farmers markets over the weekend. But these are the scenes that President Trump is referencing, regular protests that have been taking place outside federal facilities in Portland for months now, and which have on several occasions become violent, as you see right there. Some 24 people have been arrested since those protests started in June, some of them charged with assaulting federal officers. Now, the president says those protests, Bill, are a symbol of what Portland has become over the past few years, what he calls a hotbed of insurrection.
So we'll see what happens next. Thank you, Jonathan. Nice to see you in Los Angeles there. Thanks, Dana.
More on this with Kaylee McEnany, host of Saturday in America. She's a co-host of Outnumbered as well. Here's from the Oregon state's lawsuit against the Trump administration. Far from promoting public safety, defendants' provocative and arbitrary actions threaten to undermine public safety by inciting a public outcry. Is that their best argument against this?
Look, they're going to say, and they do say in that lawsuit, we have the police power. That's in the Constitution. That is true. Congress also has the power to stop an insurrection and call up the militia. They delegated part of that power to the President of the United States via the Insurrection Act. So I think the White House is going to say, we're dealing with rebellion here in Portland. There are 26 examples of individuals who have been arrested for federal crimes pertaining to ICE protests or protests in and around Portland recently. They're going to make that argument. You remember Gavin Newsom made that argument. Yeah. It was upheld. They sided with Newsom at the federal level, the district court level, and then it was overturned by the Ninth Circuit. Ultimately, the Trump administration prevailing. We'll see what happens here.
So in Portland, based on my understanding, that it's confined to a few city blocks in downtown Portland, doesn't really spill over to other neighborhoods, et cetera. And we'll see what happens next. In Chicago, meanwhile, you've got what the governor and the mayor there believe are federal troops in downtown. Here we go on X over the weekend. Mayor Johnson wrote this. He said, while Chicagoans and visitors are enjoying another gorgeous Sunday, they're being intimidated and threatened by masked federal agents flaunting automatic weapons for no apparent reason. This is another brazen provocation with the Trump administration that does nothing to make our city safer. We went in the Wayback Machine. We watched your briefing, got the transcript from the summer of 2020 when Portland was hot on fire. And there were a lot of questions to you about federal forces versus the National Guard. Yep. How do you see Trump 2.0 either deploying National Guard troops versus federal troops, and why is the distinction important?
It's very important. So the National Guard is what we're looking at in Portland, and I cited the Insurrection Act, and there's some legal questions that will get litigated. President Trump's on very strong footing in a place like Chicago, where there's an ICE facility. When I was press secretary, I gave the authority to the press corps, 40 U.S.C. Code 1315, and it allows you to deploy federal assets, federal law enforcement to protect federal property, like what you're seeing in Chicago with that ICE facility. You know, when I was there, Portland was a hub of violence. They were throwing pig's feet at officers, literal pig's feet, feces. They were trying to light a courthouse on
feet.
fire.
Man,
federal agents
you
were
can make a
there.
good soup with pig
President
feet.
Trump is absolutely within his right to say, I'm protecting federal property. That's what he did in Portland.
On your new show
A lot of
Saturday, you
people that
chance
used
to
to
interview
be-
someone that we've admired from afar, and that's Samantha Pond. And you were talking to her about the social media response about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Watch here.
There are going to be people who disagree, but we have to keep talking and seeing the way that Charlie lived. You don't have to agree with every argument. I don't even agree with every argument I've made, okay? We're not going to agree on every argument. But the point is that we got to get out in the public square. We got to talk more and not in little short clips. We got to have real conversations with real people that we disagree with and give space for understanding. Like that cannot die with Charlie.
It's a great message. Are we having an impact?
Yeah, I think, look, Sam Ponder, what an amazing woman of faith, was very bold about her viewpoints while at ESPN, and she's being bold now. But she made a really good point. She said her dad was the coach of the Palestinian national basketball team, was also the coach of the Israeli football team. And she said it's so important we dialogue one another and we don't stop talking another. She said the algorithms on social media program us to see two different Americas. You see one America if you're a Kirk supporting, but if you see a different America, if you're on these places like Blue Sky, where there's a lot of violent and hateful rhetoric. So the bottom line is we've got to talk. And it was a great message she put forward. And it's Charlie Kirk's legacy.
Yeah. Good stuff, Kaylee. See you at noon.
Yes,
Good
at
deal.
noon.
Happy Monday to you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe.
It's a good Monday. I mean, I start off the week pretty sour, but don't let my sour grapes be yours. Let's see, I got some more here. Got a couple of good ones. Like the next three. Oh, since it's National Coffee Day, right? Today's National Coffee Day. So I don't know if this is a global thing or what. It's just a made up thing here in the United States. Because they always make up shit. But let me fix these windows. Let me resize them. But how you doing, Maggie? I miss Maggie. Oh my goodness. Oh, Maggie, I needed to talk to you. Now that I have you here, I could talk to you. I was thinking, remember I told you I wanted to go out that way for vacation? I was thinking about going to the Netherlands. I'm thinking about scrapping that and I think we should meet in Iceland. What do you think? I think it'll be magical if we meet in Iceland. And that way I could give you your gifts and we could go on a tour. We could go see the volcanoes. We could go see the waterfalls. We could even go to the Blue Lagoon and get our nice, beautiful bodies in that water and regenerate together. I think that'll be a super awesome trip, especially if we're going to the thermal pools. Oh my God, you will come back home super rejuvenated. You will feel so good, and the memories will last forever. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it'll be a good thing if we meet in Iceland because I could fly in to Iceland. You could fly in. It's a short trip for you. It's not a long trip. Like it's literally like, and you're in Iceland. For me, it's a little longer, so I'm gonna be in the air a little bit longer, about 5.5 hours. But I think we should do that. What do you think, Maggie? Yay! Thank you for sending me healing. It's not here. Oh wow! Now there's a plan. We need to have a private chat. Yes, we got to do it. Listen, it would be a magical time in Iceland. I mean, we would go see the lava and the volcanoes. I've never seen a volcano up in front, like in front of me. That would be so cool. The waterfalls, the waterfalls. You know how I love waterfalls. We will go and find as many waterfalls to take in and listen and enjoy the atmosphere. I think it would be a great time. I think it would be very magical, especially the Blue Lagoon. If we were to go to the Blue Lagoon and get into the thermal pool and like get our bodies feeling like better, right? Man, I wish I could take your husband and your family and we all could go in the Blue Lagoon and all rejuvenate ourselves and start making our bodies feel so much better. It's and that's the reason why I want to go to the Blue Lagoon is because I feel like shit. My body feels like it wants to fail on me. Like every day it feels like it wants to fail and give up. But I don't let it. But I was thinking, man, it would be nice to go to Iceland with Maggie. It would be so much fun. But let's see. Iceland, yes. Like I've never been there, but I definitely would like to go. Any body of water is magical to me. Yes, I know. Especially the thermal pool, because that thermal pool is so warm and so hot. And the atmosphere is cold, right? But your body is going to be so, so, so warm. And at the same time, we could get a massage at the Blue Lagoon and they get your body and they do all this like magical touches all over your body. And I would be up for that. That would be such a cool trip. I'm thinking about it for next year. I am. It's like my agenda for 2026. I'm definitely going to go to Iceland. So we're going to have to work on something. I don't I don't wear a bikini for no one. No, I don't. Can you? I don't know how it's a bikini. No, I think you could. I don't know how the females. We can do some research on that because I don't go out there trying to flaunt or anything like that. It's like I'm trying to just get in that water and just rejuvenate. And I don't know how like there's all different types of bathing suits. I mean, imagine. I don't know if people go out there with like 2-piece or like that 1-piece, or there's some that go with like the 1-piece but they have like a skirt to it. I don't know. We'll try to figure it out. Oh no. Shit, I'll wear a skirt and I'll go in the water with you, Maggie. Maggie you'd be laughing. All right, since it's National Coffee Day, let's get a report here on coffee. It's not good news, but it is some news. Let's listen in.
getting your Starbucks fix tomorrow. The coffee chain is closing hundreds of its stores nationwide, many of them right here in the Southland. Struggling with coffee competition and inflation, Starbucks now is running out of steam, you might say, and laying off hundreds of workers.
KTLA 5's Chris Wolf joins us live from Hollywood with the story. Chris.
Yeah, what a sad story this is, you guys. Cher and Rick, I have to admit, I'm a total Starbucks junkie. I often visit locations near our TV station right here in Hollywood along Sunset Boulevard. But now just about all of them will be closing in a matter of hours, days, including this one right behind me. Actually, hundreds will be closing across North America. People have routines, comfort zones, and that's a good thing. For many of us, visiting Starbucks is a habit. And with locations just about everywhere you look, feeding that habit is typically an easy task. Not anymore. The legendary Seattle-based coffee company announced Thursday it's closing about 400 stores in North America before the end of September. With online information sharing, an estimated 69 locations in Southern California alone will be shutting down their brewing and frothing machines permanently. It's all part of a restructuring plan amid growing competition, inflation, and changing consumer tastes and communities. Bill Wyatt's been coming to this Starbucks in Los Feliz for nearly a quarter century.
We've grown old here, you know, and now it's sort of like our senior citizen hangout. It's absurd. It's the timing of not having any notice.
Senior citizen hangout, you better take your ass somewhere else. Take your ass to the senior center.
Our routines.
Bill Wyatt went so far as to launch a Save Our Starbucks campaign online, although it's too little, too late.
Most importantly, it's the employees that are, I think, hurt.
I just read in the New York Times that they're restructuring and supposedly doing better, supposed to be more welcoming, you know, be part of the community, and now they're just ripping out
Maggie.
Like a place where people go.
I was devastated because it wasn't for the coffee, it was for all the good memories and all the people we met inside.
Are you upset that this Starbucks is closing?
Yeah, actually.
I feel you on that.
Stores that have been landmarks in Hollywood for decades are now posting farewell notices. Employees did not want to talk on camera, but tell KTLA they received no forewarning of the bombshell announcement Thursday that their stores would be closing over the weekend and their futures with the cultural staple would be uncertain.
Wow.
Some will be transferred to other locations. Others will be let go. Stores closing this weekend actually make up just a small percentage of all of Starbucks stores. The chain has more than 32,000 locations.
Well, their coffee list is so complicated.
Live in Hollywood,
so
Chris Wolf, KTLA 5 News.
That's the problem with that coffee. Starbucks, one, it doesn't taste that good. Two, it's overpriced. Three, it's too complicated. Fancy, grande, and all this bullshit you put in your coffee. No, just give me a fucking black coffee, 4 creams, 4 sugars. That's it. I'm done. How is that so complicated? Oh, I want how many pumps? 3 pumps? Like, fuck your pumps. Like, drink fucking black coffee and just put some cream and sugar and shut the fuck up. And here's your coffee. Everybody wants to make their coffee so fancy. It's like, that's why your business is closing down, Starbucks. It's like, keep it simple, stupid. All right, let's go on to next news here. I tell you, Starbucks, you guys are in trouble. Okay, let's keep it moving.
We don't want to shut down the government, but if Democrats refuse to just pass this clean continuing resolution, that's exactly what's going to happen. And I think the Democrats are going to bear the responsibility for it.
As Vice President J.D. Vance putting the ball squarely in the Democrats' court as Congress faces a midnight deadline on Wednesday to fund the government or shut down. With the clock ticking, leaders from both parties, they're going to head to the White House for a meeting with President Trump later today. But they seem to be digging in their heels.
You went to Starbucks?
meeting is a first step, but only a first step.
I'm
We
not
need
a fan of
serious
Starbucks.
negotiation.
What the Democrats have done here is
I don't even
take
like their
the federal government as a hostage, and for that matter, by extension, the American people.
My colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle have
12 years
behaved not
ago.
as a
Damn,
separate
12
and
years
co-equal
ago.
branch of government and a check and balance on an out-of-control executive branch.
There is nothing partisan about this continuing resolution. Nothing. We didn't add a single partisan priority or policy rider at all. We're operating completely in good faith to give more time.
Former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy is here. You've been through many of these shutdown fights. I find them a little ridiculous, a little boring, and a little dumb, frankly, if I'm being honest. And I just thought, surely this is not going to happen again. But here we are. Who has the upper hand here?
Well, the Republicans do, because you got to give credit to Speaker Johnson and the Republicans of the House. They passed a continuing resolution, which to your listeners mean it just keeps government as it's moving, because September 30th is the end of the year for government. The appropriation bills won't be done for later. There's nothing that will change, but it takes 60 votes in the Senate. This all comes down to Schumer, and the only reasons he's doing this is because he can't lead his own base. Remember when we came to this so many months ago, he said he was going to fight it, then he folded, and he had a new book come out, and he couldn't even go on a book tour because he's afraid of AOC. And remember, AOC is a member of Congress, but she raises more money than any other member of Congress. She's from New York. He's afraid she'll run against him. And so all he's doing is holding the entire country hostage because he cannot stand up and do the right thing. If I was President Trump, I would only say this inside the meeting: I will negotiate with you after you keep the government open, because they are the only ones who are determining this. They are holding it hostage, like Thune says, and they can have a lot of people laid off because he's afraid politically.
Join me in a little trip down memory lane, which I think you will probably remember. This is from 2018.
We do not want to shut down the government because you can't get
The
your
last
way.
time you shut it down, you
Yeah,
got
let me
killed.
say something, Mr. President.
Let me say this.
North Dakota
This
and
is the
Indiana.
most unfortunate thing. We came in here in good faith, and we entered into this kind of a discussion in the public view.
But it's not bad,
Let
Nancy.
us- No,
It's
but
called transparency.
I know, it's not transparency when we're not stipulating to a set of facts.
So you remember that. And the other thing that could happen is not only did the White House threaten to basically
Yeah, too
lay off a
expensive,
bunch of
Maggie.
people if the government
Starbucks?
shuts down, because if they're not essential, then they're not essential. So I think that's a little leverage. But also, Kirsten Gillibrand, a Democrat from New York, is planning a Napa retreat in your
And you
home
know
state of
Starbucks
California.
coffee
This is
is Nestle
Political
coffee,
Playbook had
right?
this for the DSCC on October 13th and
Starbucks
14th.
uses
Why does
Nestle
that matter?
coffee.
Because they could be, the
Look
Senate
it up.
Democrats, the congressional committee,
It's
could
Nestle
be at
coffee.
this fancy, wonderful wine retreat on a shutdown day, if that were to happen.
Exactly. They would have to cancel that. I mean, but this is all coming down to Schumer. Maybe he plans to open it up right before that so he can raise the money. This is purely a Schumer shutdown. Look, I've been on the other side of this. I remember in 2013, what happens when one party wins the White House for the second term, the party out of power, the base gets very upset. And you walk yourself into something that is not smart. It costs more money. You give the power to the executive branch. President Trump will be even stronger. Again, if I was President Trump, the only thing I would do in this situation is says, I will negotiate with you after you keep the government open, because nothing changes. It's at the end of the year when anything changes. This is simply Schumer. The Democrats are craving a new leader. When you look to Hakeem and Schumer, they are the weakest Democrats I've ever had in leadership. They don't know how to get out of this problem they've created themselves in because they only look to themselves. They're not true leaders. And what you're watching is other Democrats rising up around them because they won't lead.
All right, Kevin McCarthy, you get to watch from the sidelines, as we will as well, and observe and get your analysis as it goes forward. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe.
But it's not because of the Republicans. It's because the Republicans, like, you're trying to get this deal passed, but the Democrats are, like, holding everything up. So the Democrats are like, well, we're going to shut down the government. Well, go ahead, shut down the government. And a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are not going to get paid. And that's all thanks to the Democrats. because for some reason they're just not cooperative. They don't cooperate. They just do whatever the hell they want. Okay, this next one we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch this. This is Jesse, if I'm not mistaken. This is Jesse on Fire. I want to take a look at this one. This one's a little longer. It's like 35 minutes long. So, and it's about Charlie Kirk. So let's watch this together and get this information. All right, let's set it up here. But yeah, Maggie, that coffee, it's Nestle coffee. And I'm not a fan of Nestle. I don't like their water. I don't like anything of Nestle. Not even their chocolate milk. Because now they put all these chemicals and bullshit in chocolate milk. It's incredible. It's just stupid. All right, let's go ahead and watch this.
Is a very, very long post by someone who did a vector mapping analysis, and their conclusion was that this was an explosion underneath his shirt versus a bullet strike. Okay. And this is just a guy. Now he sounds extremely credible in the post, but listen, like I went through this video kind of before I had seen what I'm going to show you in a second, saying there is one big gaping problem in the theory that it's an explosion under a shirt. I will wait and have you guys look at that and you guys can respond to it yourselves. But when I saw this, okay, I did not know this level of, scrutiny had gone into it. Like they ran it through Grok AI and asked what the video shows as it relates to whether it's an explosion or a 30-06 bullet strike. And Grok says the radio patterns, assuming that's what you meant in this video, show omnidirectional energy spread more consistent with an explosion shockwave than a linear 30-06 bullet trajectory based on forensic imaging analysis. Official reports confirm a sniper bullet to the neck. Raw footage and independent forensics are needed for certainty. So basically you have video that is being analyzed for vectors that you are with energy spread.
That isn't everything.
And the AI is validating what this guy says, which is that this was an explosion, not a bullet. Okay. So at least just so you know, as we go through this video, the punchline is going to be that there's a lot more to his theory. He says there's no bullet.
Where's the autopsy?
That's the actual one of the purposes of his entire analysis was he's like, there's no bullet. Like I did this, like I can capture energy spread with the tools that I have. There's no bullet. So I would like to see all of that and more, because we got other stuff to go over, because we also got the full breakdown of what the official story from TPUSA is of why there was no exit wound. And it's interesting. So I apologize. It's a long intro, but I just wanted to make sure that you didn't go through 25 minutes listening to me completely try to invalidate this theory if like this changes things in a big way. So I wanted you guys to have that information going in. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. Lots to talk about. Okay. So we have a bunch of information coming out that I will go through in a second, but a lot of it actually has to do with the remote detonation like theory or whatever, because there's a guy who does this huge report, which I'll show you in a second, that supports that. But I am going to tell you in this video that there is a major flaw in the Israeli remote bomb theory, that basically when I thought about it and really like put it in my brain, I think it invalidates the entire thing. Okay. I think, right. So I'll throw it out to you guys exactly what I'm talking about and where I pulled it from. And then you guys can tell me what you guys think. We're going to talk about the autopsy. The report that there was no autopsy contradicted by a report that came out afterwards. And I think the most interesting thing that came out of this was Alex Jones apparently spoke to a gentleman who said that they found the bullet inside of Charlie, the Superman bones or whatever, the Man of Steel bones. So he actually explained to Alex what their story is about, what happened with the bullet and how it was possible that a 30-06 was stopped in the body. It's actually pretty interesting. I mean, it's like, I'm not necessarily like, okay, but it at least makes more sense than just like it, just went in the neck and just stopped, So we're going to look at that. And we're also going to look at this, this report right here. Okay. So this is a guy who did just to read this. Okay. So he did an analysis of the videos, and he is saying there is no bullet in any of the footage. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, there's no bullet.
Quote,
I didn't see no bullet.
Journalism. It's forensic grade pixel forensics screaming
they
that
showed
the
Trump's
quote,
bullet when they shot at
by
him.
the steel like bones narrative is a fairy
There's
tale.
no bullet
Yada,
signature.
yada. Anyway, so he gets into really, really heavy detail with why he's saying that. And then if we have time, I wanted to show you guys this. Now, some people talked about this the other day and I never looked at it. And now that I have, I need to show this to you guys because this is crazy. There's a discrepancy between the video feed from Tyler Robinson's court appearance and another one. So the one that went out to everybody, the video and audio are completely mismatched versus the one that was seen originally like only on local news. And it's so subtle. But what they did with this video when they mismatched the audio, I mean, somebody changed it, right? Somebody took the audio and the video and they moved where his reaction looks like now. It was to a different part of what the judge was saying, a very notable part. And clearly someone did that, and someone did that on purpose. And so it's so subtle though, that you're like, who would do that? You know what I mean? And so we're going to look at that.
Bad actors in our government.
But here's the thing. Okay. Before we even get into all of this stuff and talk about it, I want to say something really quick. Okay. First off, I want to be very clear. Any of the theories that I'm sharing on the channel, it's as simple as this. Okay. I see something that is notable enough that I read about it or looked at it and whatever. I'm like, I make a video about it, or I put it in one of my videos. It's that simple. Like, I am not signed on to any of these theories. As far as I know, Tyler Robinson did this exactly the way that they said. And all those text messages are completely real. And I mean, fill in the blank, dude. Literally, like any possibility, from that end all the way to Israel did it with a remote detonating bomb. And again, I'll tell you what the big major detail in that theory is that's problematic, especially after I'm going to show you a guy who straight up did all of this research to support that theory. Okay. But we're going to get into that right now. But again, I just want to, I want to reiterate, I am not saying that any of these theories are correct. There's no possible way to know. And as a matter of fact, a good way to evaluate a person's intelligence is to see how confidently they will tell you they know something for sure when you know for sure that they can't know that for sure. Do you know what I mean? That's why Sam Harris is my number one example of that. Going on a tour to tell people that, that you're an atheist. And you want to argue with people about
Charlie,
it. God does
Charlie
not
for
exist.
a long time.
And you're doing it from this like smug chair where you're like, yeah,
I used to watch his videos.
It's all exactly what it looks like. There's no way that you can, like, God doesn't exist.
That's like, Charlie.
Okay, you can't know that, Sam Harris. Like, that is impossible for you to know. You think this is what it is, but for this to be like part of your core being, that you'll go and argue with people about it when there is literally no chance that you could know that for sure, it just demonstrates he is an asshole. I don't like that fucking guy. But anyway, now so that out of the way, let's rock and roll. Okay. So we're going to look at this. And by the way, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I would appreciate that very much. And ring the bell so that you know when I upload, because you never know, man. I might upload something crazy. You don't have the notifications on, you won't know. But also, if you guys would like this video, that would be amazing as well. All right. So
you could go back and watch it.
This is the dispatch call, which says that there was no autopsy. Okay, so
no autopsy.
So
That's
I did
crazy.
do the request. They emailed me back. He did not go in for an autopsy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital.
What?
Okay, can you just do?
Why not have an autopsy? That's something suspicious.
Can you just add a step to the case documenting that there was no autopsy? In 287, I'll be clear to the hospital.
I need an officer at Timpanogos Hospital to come stage in the emergency room bay.
Jesse just told me that he just got on the phone and Charlie's wife is coming to signature and they're bringing a car over here for agreement.
This is the same shit they did to
Charlie's
JFK.
wife is
coming to land at Signature, you said?
Sir, and Jesse's gonna go to Duncan right now and pick up a car for her.
Okay, I'm a little confused because that's what Corey just said. They said they're landing at Duncan, so I don't know where they're landing, but we will just kind of play it by ear, I guess.
So you got it, right? They obviously, overtly, very clearly said that there is no autopsy, right?
That's crazy.
Again, I don't have any idea, dude, because Turning Point USA says there is an autopsy, and they discuss it in detail with Alex Jones, and you will understand after Alex Jones tells the story why they didn't want to put this information out publicly, assuming that it's true. I mean, again, I find it's very, very hard to believe nonetheless, but still, if it is true what they said, then certainly you could understand why they would not want to put this information out. And so we're going to get to that part right this second, right after you guys live up to your side of the deal, which is to subscribe to my channel if you're going to watch my content, and then also like this video as an added bonus if you guys actually like my content. All right, let's see.
I like Jesse on fire.
Stephen Gardner's.
I like his content.
I liked his. Okay, so let's listen to what Alex Jones was told about this.
To get those exclusive details, let me go ahead and share that with you
you
guys
watched
now.
it? Yeah.
And then I will react to it.
I got a call last night from Jack Posobiec, and he says, "Yeah,
we start with Tyson. Tyson with Jesse on fire. Yeah, like I talked about it that day when it happened. I felt it. I felt it so powerful because I was ending my show, and once I started to end the show, I was walking out of my room, and I got to the door, and I got all this craziness on my phone, and I saw Charlie was shot in the neck. And I was like, oh my, and I felt this weird sensation in my body, like in my muscles. I felt like every muscle, everything. And I felt like dying inside, like it was dying. And then all of a sudden I felt super, super weird. And then I came back on and I felt hot, like fire, anger inside. Like it was Charlie. Like he's like, I was set up. Like I was hearing I was set up. It was Assad. I was set up. And I mentioned it on the show when I did that 10-hour, it was like 10 hours. Holy shit. You guys go, and I said, he's dead. Like, I know he's dead. He like, I could feel the energy. It's like, I am that sensitive that I feel things like that. But, yeah, let's go ahead and continue on with Jesse on fire.
see your viral post from an hour ago where you're quoting the TPUSA spokesperson, who, by the way, is a big fan of yours. You've met him, you've hung out with him, had dinner with him, Andrew Colvin, where he's quoting
I agree, Maggie.
Surgeon that attended to Charlie when he was brought in, and he didn't want to give the details out. So I understand how it looks a little weird. The bullet didn't go through. You need to call him. So I call him, and he goes, listen, I don't want to give the details out. I said, well, I can't help it if I'm explaining. He goes, okay, fine, but it's really gruesome. And he said that.
By the way, keep in mind, I'm going to share what Alex Jones had to say, what Turning Point USA has to say. He's now going to explain what the surgeon who worked on Charlie Kirk and his destroyed body and neck had to say. I'm also going to tell you what Erica Kirk had to say after seeing her husband's body.
Again, he's being shot from down an angle. It hits the spine and then bounces down, which is what it's going down. And then it deflects with its velocity, goes back into the spine, blows out 6 vertebrae. The bullet then shatters. That's what they do.
That's a magical bullet.
Shot wild hog straight on. This has happened, and deer, and then exploded into the heart, and fragments shot up. So he oversimplified when he said, oh, then they found the bullet up in the shoulder by the neck. No, it was fragments. And I'm sitting there listening to this in the car, and I'm like, yeah, usually I shoot a deer or hog, in the shoulder if you get a clear shot, but in the woods, you only get a front shot. I do it. You hit him in the front. I mean, it'll go in, back out the side, out the front. I mean, it does wild stuff. So I'm not, saying this is absolutely the perfect answer to all of this, but I talked to FBI ballistics experts. They said yes, and I've seen it myself. So that made a lot more sense. So it didn't go through because, oh, yeah, think about it. It's coming down at a major angle, then hits the bone and ricochets down. And I've seen that happen many times where you go into the front of a mammal. That's what he was, a great man, and then it bounces around. And when I first saw the report, because he was explaining what the surgeon said without giving me all the details, I said, that makes no sense. But I've actually shot hogs on one case. Gosh, I've shot a lot of them. They're feral. They want you to get rid of them. And they eat the baby deer and just destroy everything.
Okay, let me just make sure that people are understanding this. So we all see the bullet hole, and we're expecting what happens. The backside is, 6 times bigger than the front, right? But because it was an upward angle and Charlie Kirk is still in the process of leaning backwards, it hits and it goes into his spinal cord, and it literally takes out 6 layers of his spine. Boom, 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 boom. And then it hit his heart, and the heart explodes, pushing the now exploded bullet up into his shoulder. But it's fragmented. It's not just like the magic JFK bullet that has a little tiny dent in it. This bullet is shredded into his shoulder, right? So it takes out 6 layers of vertebrae, the heart. This is also why you didn't see blood squirting to the beat of his heart. You saw a massive gush come out onto his shirt and his shoulder. I told you guys this was graphic, so I hope this isn't too much for anybody. So that's what's going on. So there is no exit wound. There's no blood splatter. There's no blood mist. There's nothing on the banner, and there's no bullet hole. Let's keep going with Alex Jones here.
I probably shot 90 or more. I was trying to think about it. Wild hogs. I've shot little ones, big ones.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, let me just say the following, right? The thing, what's this, 541? Okay, so like if you go back here and you look at the screen right here, and it's Andrew Colvett. I actually didn't see this until we were just watching it this time, and that's the guy who said the quote. He said, "I want to address some of the discussions about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize. This is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably okay." So I assume he's going to tell that same story. So I am actually going to very quickly take us on a detour that was unplanned.
It's NFL time, and that means it's time for you to join Prize Picks. I don't understand what's daily fantasy. I'll explain that later. What you need to know right this second is that if you deposit $5 and put it in play, they will guarantee give you a free $50 regardless of whether or not you win with that $5 entry fee. Wait, I deposit them. I love all of you guys. Let's go.
All right. So, okay. So I can't believe he's gone. Posted this flyer out. What? I posted this flyer. Our team spotted at Georgetown. And now we find out professors at elite schools are members of this group and its offshoots. Professors must be immediately fired. Hey, fascist, catch. The only political group that celebrates when Nazis die. The John Brown Club. All right, let's look them up. John Brown Club. Far left gun club located in the Puget Sound area, formerly affiliated with the Redneck Revolt. So they are Antifa. Nice. Good for them, dude. Formerly affiliated with Redneck Revolt during the George Floyd protests in 2020, a group attended the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Wow, you guys really showing up, huh? Like really strong things to have on your resume. It's like, hey, the Autonomous Zone, how'd that go? The club calls itself an anti-fascist, anti-racist, pro-worker community defense organization. How come so few of you have jobs if you're so pro-worker, you fucking idiots? I literally can't, dude. I mean, I can't with these people. You got an amazing message here from JD Vance about Charlie Kirk. And I mean, man, at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, I have no reason to think that this guy is not telling the truth about this. It's one of those things where you need to really be careful that you're not getting caught up in the kinds of theories that are going to be throwing suspicion at people, where it's like, why would this guy do that? Like, why would this guy be involved in a conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know him, but like, why? Why would he be involved? And the reason that I bring that up is because you have to be able to come up with a coherent reason that anyone who would be involved, okay? Because if you were going to do this, right? If you were going to do this and you're Israel, okay? Or you're some other conspiracy, you would have as few people involved as possible, not as many, as few. So you're not just going to be adding people on, you know, you're not just going to be like randomly adding people on. And so he's the
No, it was a hit team.
son of
It was
Nevada
definitely a hit
America.
team.
He's a spokesperson for TPUSA and an executive producer of his show. What possible reason would Israel have to bring this guy on the inside of an operation like that? I mean, maybe I'm not seeing it. You know, people could tell me in the comments what you guys think, but I don't know. To me, I can't figure out why that would be a thing. You know what I mean?
Little ones, big ones. Biggest I ever shot was like 400 pounds. Shot it at about 300 yards or so, straight on. Because it came out of the woods, was turned. I was afraid it was about to go back in. I wanted a side shot, but I shot it.
He's going to make a
Trying to shoot
point
it right
here in a minute.
face. Said it went right under the neck. And that was a 300 Win Mag, very similar to a 30-06, a little more powerful, but basically the same. And it went in, so we butchered it later.
300 Win Mag goes about, if I remember correctly, 400 or 500 feet per second faster than a 30-06. I think it's like 20, I think it's like 3,000 feet per second versus like 25 or 2,600 or something.
About 2 feet, sort of the lower intestine. Well, it hit some ribs, broke into pieces, but a bunch of it bounced back up into the shoulder. So people are like, what do you mean magic bullet? Well, magic bullets because they shot Kenny with more than one bullet.
Maybe. But again, so like bottom line is that's the story. And Alex Jones is saying I guess like, you know, he shot a hog that would potentially support that. It's unbelievable the number of people that I know who are like insanely experienced hunters who I have like not hit up about this. And I'm more just like, I'm just talking, dude. I'm like, it's impossible. I mean, because I mean, listen, dude, I've shot a lot of guns, man, like a lot of guns. And again, I'm like, it's just common sense. But I guess if it's going at some weird angle, yeah, I don't know. To the point that Steven made though, like the fact that like the amount of blood that was there, you know, out of the gate was just like shocking. You know, like I've never seen anybody
bleed out
I've
like
never
that.
seen that.
I
guess
have.
I haven't seen a lot of people shot to death, come to think of it. But the ones that I have
Well,
seen in
not
videos
shot.
and stuff, like that one that's the worst one I've ever seen, I think. Like in terms of like how graphic it was. I know it was. And it happened to be a person who, you know, we all feel like we had a relationship with. In some cases you guys did. Now I want to move over to there is no bullet theory. Okay. So this is what this guy is talking about. All right. So he says, breaking, my vector mapping analysis exposes the bullet lie in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Folks, I've crunched the numbers literally using advanced pixel flow vector mapping on 3 distinct angles of high-res footage from the September 10th UVU event. I've traced every single energy signature in the chaos. Zero, not a single linear kinetic vector consistent with a supersonic 30-06 round impacting flesh, fabric, or air. This isn't sloppy journalism. It's forensic grade pixel forensics screaming that the bullet stopped by his steel-like bones narrative is a fairy tale. Charlie was a fighter, sure, but dense bones don't defy physics. Let's unpack why this recovered slug under the skin story crumbles out under scrutiny, especially when paired with the explosive Mike theory that's holding up like a champ. Okay. So here's the reality, right? Is I'm going to tell you at this exact moment what I was referencing earlier. Okay. Because I talked like Gabrielle and I on our channel on Play with Matches, which is blowing up, by the way, son. Like Play with Matches is going off right now. We the video that we put up today has 100,000 views.
I know,
already.
right, Maggie?
We never had a video do over 100,000 views, period. And it's done it already today. So if you don't follow,
my thing is like, okay, this is my theory. And we'll go back to the show in a moment. Okay, if you're gonna claim, because this is why I call like the JFK 2.0, and I'm getting this from Charlie because I'm just unique in that way. I am an empath, you know. I am an energy reader. I am super psychic, and I hear things. And that day when I heard Charlie was telling me I'm like, he's dead, I'm dead. and that he was also saying that he was set up. He was set up, and there was a team. For some reason, the number 8 came up in my head. So it's like maybe 8 individuals in that team that was set up in that facility. The explosion in the chest and having that impact up, and possibly the same time a weapon was dispensed that hit Charlie in the neck, that it was like a double take. That could be true. It's just, one says there's no autopsy, another says there is. That's contradicting, because one, the state and the police officers that were doing the reports and doing everything claim there is no autopsy. There was no autopsy. And then now all of a sudden there's an autopsy. How come we haven't seen it? How come? Who signed off on it? What doctor signed off on that? Like, there's a lot of questions that we're getting very little answers to. And man, I got this pain. Like, I could feel like inside, like maybe it was an explosion that probably, it was just like on the microphone, and that was inside his shirt, and it just blew up, and then someone took the shot and hit Charlie in the neck. But my thing is that, remember when President Trump got shot in Butler, and there were many photographers and many videos that were slowed down to a point where you could see the bullet like missing Trump? How come we haven't seen the camera like the footage that was in front of Charlie, literally facing Charlie? If you've seen Charlie debate at universities, he has a camera that's probably not as close as this, probably close, but up and down, like close to him. That's literally like you're this close as the zoom in, and to grab Charlie. And how come we haven't seen that footage? Because that footage will say a lot. One, they're gonna say this was all planned. This was a hit squad, and the FBI is very quiet about it because they had something to do with it. And we're talking about the dark side of the FBI, the ones that Kash Patel can't even touch, can't even do nothing to them. They're like a rogue operation, like it's a rogue operational team. They're a hit team, and they will find ways to gaslight the public to infinity, and you will never get the truth. That's their job. And the media's in it. There's a lot of people that are in it. They know Charlie was set up. Charlie was killed. It was a professional hit team. And that's coming from Charlie that I'm hearing. He's like, I don't know why I keep looking at this person. Like, there's someone like there, like in front of Charlie. Maybe it was someone that took the shot, and at the same time, like that explosive. You never know. Didn't Israel send so many pages over to that they had when was it? It was with how long ago was that? That was about a year ago, I believe. When Israel has sent out a whole bunch of pagers, and they put it they send it to them like they send it to Libya, and I guess they intercepted the pagers. They put bomb like small TNT devices like, and as soon as like Israel make this call to this number, that device, as soon as they get it, because it's on a countdown, so as soon as they put their hands on the device to check, that's when it exploded in their face and killed them instantly. I mean, my only thing is like, one, I want to see the autopsy. Two, I want to see that camera that's right in front of Charlie that would tell you if there was a bullet entry. This is like the same shit what happened in 9/11 with the fucking Pentagon. The mysterious plane that was not there because it was fucking invisible, but the plane that they want to describe that hit the Pentagon. Okay, they want you to believe that there was a plane that went into the Pentagon. There was no engines. There was no nothing. Like, it just evaporated. Okay. They want you to believe the same thing with Charlie. They're trying to play that same bullshit game. And the FBI, they're just 2 steps back. What is the FBI good for? That's all I have to say. What are they good for? What have they done to improve America? What have they done to deter crime from happening? Nothing. Why do I not hear the CIA anymore? How come I don't hear about that organization or even Homeland Security? Why no one stepping up from Homeland Security or the CIA? Crickets. So all I hear is crickets. Like, I don't know. Something's just not right. Something's just not right. And I'm feeling all this like weird energy inside of me. But yeah. Yeah, something is very off. Like 9/11, the magical plane, and then the very magical explosions that took down a skyscraper that wasn't even part of the damn event, right? Like, I saw like the explosions on the Twin Towers. This video will probably be taken down, and I don't give a fuck at this point. But I did see the explosions. Building 9, I believe, of the World Trade Center, which had nothing to do with the towers falling, magically out of nowhere at a free fall speed. The only thing that could possibly do that to a building, to have a building completely fall like a pancake, is explosions. Is devices that at the same time didn't Dick Cheney at that time had some crazy shit in there? Everything screams cover up. You know, this is how the 1% get away with shit. It's called deflection. Something's really sinister has been going on for a long time. And the fact that they're being exposed, they're not comfortable with. And I think the internet already knows. I know AI already knows these people and who they are and what they're capable of. That's something to ask and see what AI has to say about that. Who are the 1%? Who is controlling the narrative? I know Charlie was going to be a big threat if he would have ran for president or even vice president. I feel like he would have been a very good politician. He would have been so great as a vice president, learning and then taking over as president. Charlie could have been president of the United States. He could have. But his time was shortened, just like a lot of other politicians that were hopefuls to run for presidency. I don't know. Kennedy. Kennedy, I hear Kennedy's. Like, that's what I heard really loud in my head. The Kennedys. We're living in very unique times, very dangerous times. There's a lot, and we get a lot of little information in return. That's why I try to input myself with what's going on in the world and not like ignore it, because everything is like you just read the energy, read the room, read what's going on and everything that you see, especially when it comes to the media and how the media speaks to you, the tone they speak to you, like the programming they throw at you. You got to pay attention to all that, and that's why I show you guys a lot of the news, but it's not like just to watch it. It's to break it down and feel it, feel the energy. And man, I feel so weird inside right now, and I feel like that's Charlie. Like that's like Charlie's energy. It's kind of like an anxiety feeling inside. Like it's just fucked up, what they did to Charlie, and he's very mad. He's very, 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 very mad. But we're gonna continue on with that Jesse on Fire, and then I'll speak after.
With matches, you should definitely go do that. It's a newer channel, but it's me and Gabrielle, and it's awesome. Anyway, so we were going over this, and I said at this moment is when it hit me. I'm like, because I look at the footage, they're jumping over the tables and they're doing whatever they're doing, and it looks shady, and then you automatically have in the back of your head that Israel did this thing with the pagers, and so you're like, okay, Israel is putting pressure on Charlie Kirk. Israel did these pagers, remote detonated thing under his shirt, makes sense. And then if that makes it, and then like these guys ruffling around,
they were showing the autopsy on the body.
You know what I mean? And so
that's why you got to see the autopsy.
It looked credible enough to like talk about it. I mean, obviously everybody was talking about it, is talking about it. Here's the problem. Okay. This is the primary, nearly insurmountable problem for me right at this moment. Okay. Is the only way that you do it, right? And he talks about this in here, and I actually had talked about this before, where the way you would be able to do it to where people wouldn't realize that it happened under the shirt is the remote needs to set off 2 detonations at the same time. Okay, the same remote sets off 2. Okay, and the one is on him, the other one is wherever you want them to believe that the shooter is, right? You get a patsy up there, sniping, you hit the button, it goes off here, and then it goes off over there, and the much louder one is over there. So it would literally drown out any noise associated with him being, blown up right here, right? So here's the thing for why that doesn't work. I don't think, now that I'm thinking about it, is they obviously are, Israelis, there are a lot of things. Stupid ain't one of them, right? So they're going to be able to think of all of this stuff. And you're selling the fact that he was shot, right? They obviously know this is going to be recorded in every possible direction, right? There's going to be recorded in every direction. Now, I will note, though, that Candace says she cannot find any good footage from the side where the blood is now. There's like that one video, but then like that's it. And then it's just like she can't find anything good from there. I mean, I don't know what that represents or whatever, but like it could just be people who have it are like, Jesus, this is terrible. And it's being filtered all over social media. But nonetheless, right? You are selling the fact that he's being shot. So you know it's going to be recorded, but you're not shooting him. You're putting a bomb on his chest, right? I mean, or maybe some kind of projectile, but like I don't, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's some kind of projectile that's like, here, and so it shoots. And I mean, I guess it's possible that
but it was showing the autopsy
shoots a bullet of some kind or whatever.
The autopsy report would say that.
I don't know. Are we talking like, I guess if they're saying that it was like a bullet, right? But then it hit him in the neck. So what, it was like facing up? It's like
there's no pictures of the autopsy.
Goes up. I mean, I guess why, I don't understand.
There
Why
should
would
be
that
pictures.
why would that not cause an exit wound either if it's going off right there on his neck? So what I'm saying is like, if it's not going to be a gunshot wound, like not a traditional gunshot wound, you leave yourself so much opportunity to get caught, because your entire patsy and that whole thing that you've set up over here, if this is accurate, is telling the story that he was shot, but you're not shooting him. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, who knows? I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. This is the thing that I thought about, right? So no impact energy signatures on multi-angle footage. So in ballistic events, a high velocity round going 2,700 feet per second for a 30-06 creates a telltale shock plume, a directional pixel displacement for the hypersonic entry, cavitation bubble in tissue, and exit yaw. I map vectors across 4K clips, pre-shot baseline, impact frame, and 5-second aftermath results. Omnidirectional micro vibration radiating from Charlie's chest mic position, not a straight line pierce. It's blast overpressure, folks. Spherical expansion from an internal source, like a triggered charge in the Rode Wireless Pro. If it was a bullet, my flow maps would have lit up like a tracer round. They didn't. Okay. The Man of Steel bullet defense, officials say 30-06 was stopped under his skin due to dense bones. Heroic spin, but laughable science. At that velocity, even Superman's ribcage fragments the projectile into hydrostatic chaos, tissue explosion, not a neat subcutaneous park, autopsy leaks, silent on rifling marks, copper jacketing, or yaw deformation, and recovering an intact slug from a long-range hit, unicorn territory. Yeah. So like, here's another, this is a video that's, hang on. This like indicates, I believe that this is like, oh, he's saying that there's a heat source that goes up. Okay. Never mind. Here it is. So watch this. Wait, what am I looking at? Slowed it down for people in the back who don't know what they're looking at. This proves one thing, no bullet. How does that, I don't understand. How does that prove there's no bullet? Let's see what, I've analyzed the vector mapping, and the officials reports from sources like FBI and Wikipedia describe a sniper's 30-06 striking Kirk's neck with the suspect arrested. Conspiracy posts on X highlight mic explosion theories, noting no clear linear path in frames. Pixel artifacts show radial patterns, but without independent forensics, it's speculative. More raw data is needed for clarity. Okay, so based on this is obviously Grok. Based on this racial patterns, or based on this racial patterns displayed in this post, evaluate if it shows 30-06 bullet type strike pattern or something else. The radial patterns, assuming that's what you meant in the video, show omnidirectional energy spread, more consistent with explosion shockwave than linear 30-06 bullet trajectory, based on forensic imaging analysis. Whoa! Official reports confirm a sniper bullet to the neck. Raw footage and independent forensics are needed for certainty. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, well, I guess that basically invalidates everything that I said, questioning this theory.
Yeah, because
wow,
it can't be a bomb.
Okay. Honestly, I think that is it for our video. I was going to show you guys this. I'll just tell you, okay? There are two versions of this video. In one of them, he nods when the judge gives him some instructions, and someone took the footage and edited it to make the nod that he gave like match with when the judge is reading the accusation, saying that he shot Charlie Kirk because of his political beliefs, and then he makes that nod, and they edit it to make it seem like he was nodding at the accusation. Okay. Now, obviously, this is important because if we're saying that this is some kind of Israeli plot or whatever, the most important part of that after the deed is done is getting your lone shooter to be the single person who is responsible for this, and then making it all go away. Like that's like the standard operating assassinate a political figure playbook. And so it could have just been someone who was, I don't know, being like whatever, but it could have been a state actor. And the thing is, it's so subtle that like, I don't know. I'll just show it to you actually really quick. Watch this.
Watch this. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading the information.
That was it, right? Very, very small nod, but it's there. That actually seems to have happened at a different part of the video. Okay, so, and that also brings me to an important note about the Candace Owens thing that she said about that Tyler Robinson is not. By the way, whenever I say Tyler Rogers, okay, I realize I'm doing that over and over and over. It's because I know a guy named Tyler Rogers was in my fraternity. Very notable character for a very specific reason that I won't get into right now. But like, so when I start Tyler it's like it always just goes Rogers. Okay, so Tyler Robinson, right? The story that Tyler Robinson was never even on the campus, and that this entire government narrative is made up, that the dad didn't turn him in, that all that stuff is just completely fabricated by the government that Candace put out. Okay, so again, I want to make very clear that I'm not signing on to any of the theories, right? Like I put out the, what Candace said and gave some commentary on it, and I commended her bravery, which I still do. That doesn't mean that I'm saying I believe what she's saying is for sure going to be accurate. What I will say, what I do believe is that for sure a source came to her and said that. Okay. Like I absolutely trust Candace not to lie. Okay. I don't think that she would ever do something like people think she's doing these like conspiracy theories to just get clicks. And I'm like, okay, what I can tell you about you against like versus me is you might be better at a lot of things than I am, but you're not better at reading people, dude. Okay. Because I can tell, like, there's no question in my, like, not a question that she absolutely believes what she is saying. At the very least, that like she's suspicious enough to talk about it. Okay, like she's not going to string together like stuff she knows to be false just to get clicks. I would literally bet my life on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have that much faith in her.
I just don't like her attitude.
That's what she is. Okay. However, that doesn't mean she can't be used. Okay. Like, if you are, this is exactly what my point is going to be right now about, think about the incentives of the people who are involved in this. That's where I always go. What are the incentives, right? Like with the thing about the Turning Point USA guy who said the thing about the autopsy. Okay, well, whoever would be in charge of this would be incentivized to involve as few people as possible because they don't want to get caught. They don't want to have loose ends. There's no reason to involve him, which kind of is like, okay, so why would, but maybe the new people, they had to get a couple people at the top of the company that were going to take over once they took up. I mean, who knows, right? But when it comes to this situation with Candace, the incentive is very, very simple to understand why someone will come to her and bullshit her about this, okay? She said that his family, the story about his family is BS, which means she clearly must have a line to the family, to the dad, the mom, whatever, which means there's a high probability that the family's talking. And if you are the family, even if your son really did kill Charlie Kirk, okay, he's facing the death penalty. Okay. I'm not condoning them. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just saying if they were, going to Candace Owens and they're like, we need to, you just go to sleep every night, just overwhelmed. I can't even imagine being in that situation. It's really easy for everybody in our position to kind of pass judgment. Like if my son did that, like I wouldn't help them even a little bit. And I certainly, that's what I say right now. I mean, that is what I say right now. Actually, I wouldn't help him, but I can understand someone who was so overwhelmed by their parental instinct to like save their kid that they're like, I can't let him get the death penalty for this. Like, I need to do something to help his case. And, Candace is running with 100 different, different things coming this way, that way. And she's very good at stringing narratives together that would invalidate the official story and will probably give us a much better chance of winning this case. So let's tell her this, you know what I mean? I mean, that's easily a way where what she's saying could be true and simultaneously not actually represent what happened here in this case. You understand what I'm saying? But who knows? Could have been Israel. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
It could be. Listen, you never know who are the players, who are the 1%. If they want to silence you, they will. They knew Charlie was a threat and he had close ties to the government, and they wanted him and they got him. He didn't have like top-notch security and like, no, he had like probably the minimum for a person of his importance. But these type of people, they're here in our countries, all our countries, wherever we live. We can be living here, we can live anywhere in the world. Wherever you at, there are these sleeper cell teams. They're like a kill team that if they need to take someone out, they have the opportunity to do it, they will take it and they will do it. And they've done it before many times. Like how many times and how many people of Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, people just disappear. Their chef even, like all of them, just the ones that know too much, they get hit by a kill team. It's like Obama too. Look what he did. He got his chef. His chef knows way too much, and he was writing a tell-all book about the Obamas, and that wasn't gonna happen because you know what? How can you freaking drown of like 4 feet of water? And the fact that he was like a good swimmer. But I'm just saying, the depth of the water and the way that he had died doesn't make sense at all. But that was an open shut case. Shut the fuck up. Nobody's talking about it. So I could get away with it because nobody's talking about it. And you bury it. You bury it with distractions. I'm like the only one that's like bringing it up right now on YouTube. Why haven't we seen any autopsies? Especially Charlie, like give us the autopsy. Let the internet listen. The internet is undefeated. You know what I mean? You got all these AI companies and different AIs that could solve cases in a second. It does like that's how fast AI is right now. AI learns everything that's going on in less than a second. And that's everyone that's talking right now at the same time. Everyone that's in the internet, putting things into the internet, AI is picking up on all that information. In less than a second, they grab real-time information. It's gonna be like Minority Report. If you haven't seen that movie, I suggest you take a look at it. If you don't have it, I think you could get it free somewhere. Well, you're gonna have to find out where you can watch it. But I do have that movie, and every day I just feel like a precox. I feel like I'm part of the precox. I'm part of the psychics that are in the water. And you see things, hear things, and just let people know ahead of time. That's all I could do. But yeah, scary but true. Yep, Maggie, it is. This times right now, this is like I feel like I died, right? And I came back, right? Because I did die and come back. And like this is showing me all the shit like that I would have missed out. But I was given a second opportunity to get all this information, more information to take along with me on my next journey, which could happen anytime. You know, I haven't been feeling so good, but but it's a journey that you go on. It's like when you're born. Do you remember when you were born? No, you don't, because you just was not totally conscious. You know, you don't remember when you just came out into the world and they're spanking your ass to make you cry and remove all the fluids from inside of you, and with a little nose plugger thing to clear the liquids out. And then when you go, it seems like it's like a roller coaster ride. And it's like the detachment from your body and your soul. Your soul stays, your body is just a capsule. It's like it was like that was like your transportation while you were here. And what happens with the soul is the biggest question, right? I feel like it's tied in with the earth. So your energy stays here. You know, some energy is very peaceful, and you know, they're at peace. They moved on. But some energy are not, and they attach themselves, and that's where we have haunted houses and houses that have spirits and has like unstable energy that I deal with here in the building where I live. It's just infested with spirits, and they detach from the body, but they're kind of like lost, and they didn't really pass on like they should have. They just grew like attachment, and a lot of them they can move on, but a lot, it's just people die every day. News alert: people die every day, and they die every millisecond. There's someone dying, and it's not just one, it's thousands upon thousands of people. Okay, so remember, that energy is just very strong energy. I'm not coming back here. So I'm not coming. Yeah, I mean, it's how you move on. Like how your brain is where it's at that moment. Like, do you want? It all depends. Maybe you come back and you don't know. You're reincarnated, and you come back to the world again, and you don't have any conscience of your past life. Many people do. There's a lot of people that have been recalling their past lives and been super accurate with every detail of the events. It's pretty wild. And the kid not knowing like anything of the case or anything, like nothing. And he detailed every little thing in his past life, and it was it makes you think, you know. I just feel like it's a cycle that we keep being put back here, and but different phases, you know. They put you at a struggling phase, and then the next life you might be even poorer, and then there'll be another life where you're rich and famous. There's probably another life out there that you're the president of your country. There's like, it's like, I don't know. It's just different timelines, you know, different outcomes. and different lives. And the fact that like Earth just intercepted strong information from deep space that Earth intercepted, and there's people who are working very hard to cipher the information that came through, like overwhelmed the planet to the point that it's, I think, the biggest news that's gonna rock society. We're not alone. We've never been alone. There's life everywhere. And then that's gonna put the theory into jeopardy, and there's gonna be new theories afterwards. I mean, a lot of theories have been conquered before. This is not the first time. I remember when they were saying that Earth was the center of the universe, and that was very wrong. We're not even next to the sun. You know what I mean? It's like the truth, it's out there. A lot of life out there. But I'm going to wrap it up in about 8 minutes. So we could chit chat in the chat. It's so far as Maggie. Maggie, happy you were here. You don't want to do it again. You come back, you become rich and famous, and you're like not a care in the world. You never know. Probably come back as a dragonfly. You're like, oh shit, I'm a dragonfly. Like, no, oh my god. Stay away from the frogs. Stay away from the frogs. Oh no. I know people that are very scared of frogs. Like they have like anxiety attacks just like talking about frogs. There's people like that. Like me, I don't like things that crawl. I don't like bugs. When I was little, I kind of like was like I used to save the caterpillars because the kids will always step on them and kill them, and I knew if you gave them an opportunity, they would become butterflies. And I would get to school early, and there was a walkway from like the basketball courts. Well, there was a walkway that leads like to the building, to where the school and so forth. But when I used to get early, there used to be the caterpillars on the sidewalk, and I would bend down and pick them up, put them in a little envelope I would make out of paper. I would put them inside there, and I would take them to the tree and put them by the tree. One time I didn't have time to put them by the tree because I was like a little late for class. So I put the caterpillar in the paper, and I grabbed some grass and I put it inside the envelope. And I took them in my pocket. And then once I was done with school, I went out by the back of the school where there's like more bushes and so forth, and I let it loose there. Yeah, it's just so cool. Like I remember, like, and I used to love to see them when they were in their cocoon phase. I was like, oh man, it looks so cool. You know, that's like they're gonna turn into butterflies. But a lot of kids used to kill them. Yeah, they were a lot of really bad kids, especially at the time when I went. They're like they would kill the caterpillars, any worms, all that stuff. They would step on them. This is looks crazy. Yeah, I couldn't kill them. I feel so bad for them, especially the caterpillars. And that was like, how old was I? I was about 6 years old. I was 6 years old when I used to do that and pick them up and put them by the tree. I remember we used to play kickball in the morning. And I used to love playing kickball in the morning before class started. And then after I was done with the kickball, I would just get to class, and it was really cool. I had a like I remember all my schooling too. Like my memory is so good. Like I remember a lot. I even remember when my parents used to change me, like change my Pampers. Crazy. But it should be a good day today for you guys. I'll be back this evening to do an evening show, recap what happened on today. I know BB was here. Netanyahu was here. He was doing visiting Trump at the White House and chit chatting, having breakfast, lunch, a lot of meetings. Hopefully, there's some kind of resolution with the Gaza stuff, and which I don't think. That's just they want to take over Gaza, so they're gonna like continue and destroy everything that's there, and then just take over that area, build a new border wall to push back on the Palestinians, and and that area is so small compared to Israel. Like the Palestinians, it's like a small area. It's not like really big, but there's a lot of bad people there, and it's hard to get rid of them if they just keep popping up. And the only way you're going to get rid of them all is by removing everybody from the area. And that's going to be very difficult. A lot of them are underground. They have like underground, like where it's like cooler. It's kind of like they sleep there, live there, cook there. They do everything there. And it's all underground. So it's wild. Yeah, it's bedtime for you, right? Because you're 5 hours ahead, so it's like 7:38. Oh, I came on early. Yeah, because I do the wake and bake in the mornings. Like I've been doing it lately, and I like it. Today I started a little late because I was tired. I was just upset because my doctor, 10 minutes before my appointment, they call me and tell me, oh yeah, he's not showing up today, and we have to reschedule you. And I'm like, that's 10 minutes before I'm here waiting for the doctor. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I was just really upset. That's how I started my day. I was just upset because it was a waste of time. So when I came back home, I was so tired. I was thinking about doing the wake and bake early, but I said, fuck this shit. I'm going to sleep. And I fell back to sleep. I slept a few more hours. I ended up waking up like around 11. And I was like, all right, I got to get myself going. Then I'm yawning. So I know you're tired, Maggie, because I just yawned. And I know it ain't me because I ain't damn tired. It's only, 2:40? I got to get myself going. I got some things I got to get done. And I get it. I'm at the hospital Friday. Been waiting for 8 months. But wait a minute, you're at the hospital Friday. I've been waiting for 8 months. Yep, it's me. Huh. Yeah, that yawn because holy shit, that thing hit me hard, and I was like, "It's not me. I'm not tired. Look, I'm yawning again. It's not me. It's only 2:41. You crazy? And I drink coffee and I smoke my medicine. Yeah, right. I don't think so. It ain't definitely me. I'm too hyped with the damn caffeine. I ain't fucking tired. I ain't sleepy, but I'm yawning and my eyes are watery. That's how my energy works. I'm very sensitive with energy and with people's energy. And I don't need to be there to feel it. I just know it. That's just a big difference. I just know it. But I feel bad for about Charlie, but we'll talk more about it. If it's the truth, like the guy was saying, Jesse on fire, my thing is like, if that's the case with the explosion, Mike, then where's the autopsy report that says that there was some kind of like marks or anything on his chest? You know, because the last time I checked, and the last I know this, when they do autopsies, you're not wearing any clothes. They cut all your clothes off. You're naked on the table. And they rotate your body. They document your back, your head, everything. And okay, they roll you back and they detail everything. If there was an explosion in the chest and so forth, it would specify it in the autopsy report. It would say it was, show, some kind of blunt force into the chest, and and you would see if the skin's been pierced or any type of anything. So that's why I'm like confused with Utah saying that no, there's no autopsy report, and this is coming from the dispatchers and the police. And then you have Turning Point and others out there that are saying, "Oh, look, psychic. I am a psychic." They close it. Close up the close up. But there would be an autopsy that would say, okay, yes, this is what happened and the explosion and so forth. And then you had an entry, and it would document like where the entry is, because they would know, they would feel, and they would see if the bullet where it came from. All that they could tell you right away. Why is there so much like detective work where there's already answers? That's like what Charlie would be telling me right now. He's like, you already know the answers. They don't want to release the answers. They don't want to release the truth. The truth is they already know the truth. And Charlie was set up. And that's why you have a lot of other distractions happening to have people try to forget about Charlie. And I don't think people should just drop Charlie's case and just not really focus on it, like focus in on it and not lose energy on Charlie. Because that was an assassination, and we still are not being told the truth. So anyhow, I'll talk more about this tonight. Continue, have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And thank you, Maggie, for showing up. I appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. And then we'll work out something for next year, because I need to see you. And I want to make sure it's next year. If not next year, it may be never. So we have to pick a good time frame. And we got to get our butts over there and have a good time. That's what I'm looking for. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.